Our assassin is being briefed about his latest mark, Frederick Drooper, heir to High Castle, and he notices that Ripley seems to have a personal interest in his demise. He travels to the town of Galita and gets a room at the Lemon Tree, the local inn. That evening, feeling a bit nostalgic, he reveals a little of his past to Sophie and alludes to why he has taken up the mantle of assassin. In the small hours of the night, our assassin sneaks over to the estate and scouts it out, getting the lay of the property. He does not have much luck in the dark, wet night, so returns to his room. The next day he questions some of the locals, trying to gather information, and learns that the peasants hold the Drooper family in high regard. Having had no luck at night, he decides to stroll around the estate during the day and manages to get the groundskeeper to show him around. He returns to town and notices some of the servants at the local tavern and uses his knowledge of avocados to get into their good graces. He learns that Frederick will soon be hosting a party that lasts several days for some of his noble friends. After his conversation with the servants, he concocts a plan to make Frederick's death look like a riding accident. He finds Ripley and orders some equipment. While he waits, he asks some more questions and attempts another night recon at the estate. He gains entry to the house fairly easily and starts snooping around. But unfortunately, the guards notice a door he unlocked and starts a search of the whole house. Will the search find the assassin? Why does Ripley hate Frederick? What is the best type of avocado? Let's find out now on Assassin.
Hello everybody and welcome to Assassin. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. How's your summer going?
Like I said, it's, I've got, 4 days till I'm an unemployed therapist now.
Oh, how exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you nervous?
I'm doing well. I found that I've got, I don't know if I want to quite call it senioritis with my clients, but definitely lowering the professionalism filter. Like before, I came in, very much, oh, really? Being super professional. Now, in like the last session I did with this one client of mine, I was, he was talking about, I don't know, the stuff that's going on. I just feel like I don't know, what God's plan for me is here, And so we talked, I said, and keep in mind, for some people, God's plan is to end up in a headline that contains the words Florida man and alligator. So you're doing pretty good.
Wow. That's a way I've never thought about things before, and it's certainly going to change the way I think about things in the future.
For some people, God's plan is apparently for them to be a cautionary tale. To others.
All right. Well, let's hop into game here. We are currently in an estate just north of High Castle in those lovely little hills over here that I'm about to ping, maybe. And you are, I believe, on the 3rd floor of this estate, in a room that has been decorated since our last visit. If I can find the room.
Somewhere, I've gone downstairs.
Somewhere in the blackness. Yeah, you were originally on the 4th floor.
Oh, okay. I thought I came in on the 3rd. My mistake.
Your room has now been decorated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it might become important to know exactly where things are positioned in some of these rooms. And I believe where we left off is you were hiding in this room because there had been footsteps and knocking and key rattling, and a certain Mr. Kel Cotton Hill has been reporting back to the young nobleman that you're here to kill quietly, secretly. Because a door has been found open on the 4th floor, leading outside.
What's the scale on these squares?
Each square is 2.5 feet. There's a brand new ruler tool that Roll20 has just rolled out. And
that hasn't existed for a long time?
They've got an improved version. It'll now snap to the sides, to corners, or snap to the center, or not snap at all. So each square is about 2.5 feet. To be honest, actually, each square...
I don't know. It looks more like 2.55 feet to me.
Well, technically, each square is subdivided into 4 squares, and the super square is 5 feet, and each of the subdivisions are 2.5 feet. So it depends on how technical you want to get with the square size, you know.
Well, technically, Subdivisions was a Rush album.
Well, we should probably be rushing the campaign because you are in danger. You can hear Cotton Hill saying to Frederick, "My lord, it's probably nothing, but I would feel better if you were to return to your bedroom instead of this one. This has an outside door. You know as well as I do that noblemen and women have been dropping like flies lately. Even the Queen's own cousin, a paladin for the god's sake, has died terribly. It's probably nothing, but please, just..."
Oh dear lord, am I gonna have to sitcom this goddamn thing?
"Would you just return to your original room, and leave this one to me?" And Frederick goes, "Oh my god, this is..."
I go under the bed.
Will I not get any sleep tonight then? Cotton Hill says, "Lord, your father would never forgive me if you died under my watch." And there's a, all right. Then you kind of lose the sound of their voices. You say you crawl under the bed?
Yes.
Okay. A few moments...
God, it's gonna be like a bad sitcom where I'm stuck under the bed the whole night.
A few moments later, Frederick comes on into your room, his room. You're under the bed, so you can just see his bare feet padding on the carpet. The door is open, and the armored shoes of a knight, well, I guess he's probably barefoot too, because he was asleep, pop in the room partially. There's some more soft words spoken, which you can hear, but it's just about security, and Frederick is saying, "This is ridiculous. Who would want to kill me?" Oh, Cotton Hill says, You're the only heir to High Castle. It's fine, my lord. Please.
At least one person in this room. Possibly two.
And then the knight leaves. You do hear him mention something about switching rooms and sleeping in the master bedroom. And then Frederick crawls into bed and goes to sleep. Or, starts to go to sleep. God knows how long it's actually going to take him to go to sleep. And here you are.
Here I am. I guess if this were really a sitcom, there'd be a couple on top of the bed over me starting to make fun.
And one of them would be your brother, and the other would be your ex-girlfriend, who's now seeing your brother, but you can't tell them because, can't tell them that you know, and they're definitely doing it behind your back.
And then Thanksgiving would totally be awkward with them saying things and me making comments sort of like I know, but...
And then they'll exchange an inside joke that you were there for about, Grandma's breathing tube. And you'll start cracking up, and they'll look at you like, "Why are you laughing? How do you understand that joke?" Right? Thankfully, this is not a sitcom. This is a very serious drama about murder.
Absolutely, because if this was a sitcom, the turkey would get ruined.
Yes, and
because no turkey, beautifully cooked turkey, has ever survived to be eaten in a sitcom.
probably true.
A dog will run in and take it. It'll get stuck on someone's head.
They'll forget to turn on the oven altogether.
Or they'll burn it.
Mm-hmm. Or they'll have to put it in the heart of a TARDIS to cook for a while.
Oh, yeah, we all remember that episode.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately for us, this is not a comedy. There's no comedy on Assassin whatsoever.
Nothing funny about the show at all.
No, it is murder and mayhem and stabbing and killing and bloodshed and violence.
Oh my.
Not comedy. So what are you doing in a non-funny way?
I am avoiding tapping my fingers like this as I wait, and I wait.
How long are you going to wait?
Personally, I'm kind of hoping that he mutters again so I can hear what he's muttering about.
All right. So you will wait for him. Maybe hear some mutterings. Yeah, maybe like 4 hours later. It's getting early. Sun's not quite up yet, but you've been under the bed for a long time. The Lord above you has seemed fairly restless. I shouldn't call him a Lord. The young man above you has seemed kind of restless. But he starts muttering to himself about dancing? It sounds like he's asking somebody to dance in his sleep. Dance? The piano. No, I insist. Some sort of quiet muttering.
Insist. You can dance if she wants to. You can leave her friends behind.
But if she doesn't want to dance, she doesn't have to dance. And eventually, some hours later, the sun will come up, and Frederick will wake up begrudgingly, roll over, put a pillow over his head. Knock will come at the door. Lord, time for breakfast. Followed by a, no, go away, I don't want to talk to you. And then the door will open and a middle-aged man will come on in, saying, Lord, breakfast is being served, and the bakers are here to sample you some of the cake. And at this, Frederick kind of pops up and goes, cake? Okay, all right. Can you fetch my clothes from the other room, Walter, please? There's 15, 20 minutes of the butler, Walter, helping Frederick get dressed.
All right, I'm listening to Walter's verbal tics and everything. I've listened to those for Cotton, listening to them for Walter, like memorizing them in case I need to imitate either one of them.
Walter's a formal and sort of removed individual. His voice is fairly steady with not a lot of emotion in it. He seems to be very punctual and task-based, you know. Got to make sure that the calendar is laid out for the day. Got to make sure that all the clothes are done right. Oh, hey, this button's not quite shiny enough. Give me a moment. Take off the vest. I'll polish up the button. Okay, here we go. So very kind of rote, focused on the tasks at hand. And after 20 minutes or so, Walter and Frederick head out of the bedroom, leaving you under the bed, probably a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. I wait 10 minutes just to be sure. He's like, oh, forgot my keys or something. And then after that, I'm like, and I like stretch and try to like massage my legs and get back comfortable again.
Yeah, you've been under the bed. It's not super great, but you can get the blood flowing through everything. And it's now morning. There's light everywhere, and there are people moving about the estate. What are you going to do? How are you going to get out of this situation?
No, it's just really unfortunate that this has to be like secret, because that would have been the ultimate if Cotton had moved him into this room for safekeeping, the one where I was.
Would have been great, but this is a secret assassination mission, and that would just not do. So what are you going to do? How are you going to get out of this place without being seen?
I might have to spend the day in here. Is there a book?
There's a bookshelf, yes. There are a couple of small books on it.
Well, that ruined the plan that I had.
Ah. Oh no, his
Moving
plan
into
was
that.
ruined. Oh.
Well, I told Neil I had a plan that might have been able to finish this off quickly, but he ruined it.
I didn't even know what the plan was to ruin it. It's just...
My plan was that until the room switched, after Cotton left, I was going to wait a little bit and then come up, imitate Cotton's voice, and go, "My lord, I have a plan that might both satisfy my need for security and your need to get out of the estate and have a little more freedom," and tell him that I wanted him to take a secret dawn ride and not draw attention to himself, and that while he was gone, and I would have a guardsman posted following him but out of sight, so that he could keep him safe, and then I would flush out the assassin while he was gone,
Very
and
cool.
then ambush him out on the road.
Well, maybe you can employ it later. Now, the plan's not totally ruined. It's just been indefinitely delayed.
Well, see, I thought I might have ended up, having this done in 20 minutes.
Oh, well. So are you going to spend the whole day in the bedroom? Under the bed? Because if so, we got to talk about, bodily functions. And can you spend all night and all day under someone's bed without needing food or water or access to a bathroom? The latter one's the more important here. You hold it, assassin.
Not really prepped to imitate Betty here. I didn't see any. I don't. It might have just been an oversight in whoever designed the mansion, because nobody ever thinks to put the toilet in the dungeon. But I didn't see any bathrooms here, so I'm wondering, do these have chamber pots in each of the rooms?
Yep, it's a chamber pot thing. You can see the chamber pot in this room is tucked over between the chair and that dresser, and it's quite clean. It's not used in the slightest. Looks like Frederick hasn't been living in this room, so it's dry, fresh, and probably be sort of obvious. I mean, maybe Frederick would...
Yeah, I was thinking of the one in the other room to see if Cotton had relieved himself, and I could just add to it.
Right.
And hopefully whoever comes by to clean them later won't be like, Cotton is a known vegan, but this has...
The servants are just going through their droppings looking for signs of something unusual. Well, you do have that invisibility potion still, don't you?
Yeah, but I kind of wanted to save that in case I needed that for an escape.
So that way you can finish the game with all of your potions still intact and never used.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
RPG player. never use your
Absolutely.
resources.
You don't finish the game without a giant stockpile of Phoenix down. You're not playing it right.
All the elixirs in the entire game. Never used one because it might be useful in that next boss battle, regardless if I have 30 of them sitting beside me.
Alright. I'm gonna listen. Do I hear anything out there? Wondering if they bother to guard this room when they know he's not in it all day.
Just give me a perception check.
Alright. Filling up the old characterino. Getting ready. Roll.
Ooh, quite nice. So the hallway out here is pretty quiet, but you can hear out the window in the yard the talking of servants. And if you look out the window, you can see some lines have been strung with linens hanging on them, drying out in the warm morning sun. You hear the servants talking about the people that are coming to begin preparing for this party.
All right, I will listen to that for a while, or more gossip I can hear.
Well, like what Walter said, the baker is coming to sample a few different cakes. The party's in, I kind of lost track of the exact days, but I think it's in like 11 days. And so the baker needs a little bit of time to prep for this, and there needs to be there's a piano man coming today to tune the piano in the estate. And some specialty servants are coming to really buff out the floors in the ballroom, and there are preparations being made of that sort of. Also hear the giddy excitement in the servants outside as they are gossiping about the lords and ladies, or really the sons and daughters of lords and ladies, who will be in attendance. The outside, you catch the names of Joan and Margaret. They're two young women arranging stuff outside that, and they're very excited about the arrival of one of the young friends of Frederick Trooper, a dashing young nobleman with the name of Neil. He's just fantastic and lovely, and they can't wait for him to arrive and let him stay.
All right. So this piano man. Piano man arrives today. This estate is just too damn big to really reconnoiter much of it. 4 frickin' stories spread out over a huge area. Really feel like I need to get him out, right? No range. Too many people around. Maybe just like push him down some stairs. He'll never be like isolated. Always be guards patrolling, etc.
And he might survive a push downstairs. You never know.
Well, not if I snap his neck and then push him downstairs.
Oh, right, of course. My apologies.
The pushing down the stairs part comes after he's dead.
Right. Got it.
Can't think of a good way for him to accidentally kill himself in his own.
It's very difficult to accidentally kill yourself.
Oh, he shoved his Han Solo figure up his nose again. I knew he should have taken those old toys out of here before we let him sleep in here again. Maybe the party is going to be the best time. Be a lot of drunken people. There'll be a lot of activity going on. He's drunk, they're more likely to believe that he did something stupid and injured himself.
Well, I mean, you're here. How are you going to get out? First things first, right? You're just going to... Or do you not want to leave the room? Do you want to stay here all day and night?
I was listening. I wanted to hear what was going on out. If I were to open this door, am I going to be looking at a guard or what?
No, it's pretty quiet on the other side. You're 27 perception check. You have high confidence that there is no one immediately in the room next door.
All right. I am going to leave this room then, close the door in case someone comes. I will go into the main bedroom. Is the door locked?
You move out into this hall and head for the main bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Things. Alright. Down you go. Door is not locked. You can step on in and see this nice, large, comfortable main bedroom. Got a 2-level effect going on here. No shrubberies to help it along, though. But a nice bed on the upper level with some dressers and cabinets and comfy chairs on the lower levels. There's no herring to be found yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's no shrubberies either, so what are you going to do? How could you have herrings without shrubberies?
So I am... First, Cotton did spend the night in here. Over to the chamber pot. Has it been used?
No, it hasn't been.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm sorry. I rolled for it.
You know what? The servants are still going to check it anyway. And with 2 people having been in here, Cotton will assume it was the heir. The heir will assume Cotton.
And who checks up on who's using what facility, right?
Yeah.
It's unlikely to come up.
I'm guessing there's not a chamber pot log somewhere in the servants' security.
Probably not. You know, maybe like a 1 in 20 chance of that happening.
Oh, there's 5% of people keep...
There's always a 5% chance of success, and there's always a 5% chance of failure, regardless of what the odds might actually be. This is D&D after all.
So at any moment, there's a 5% chance that a dragon could fly in, pull down my pants, and then go flying off into the sunset.
There's a 5% chance that there could be a freak accident, and that could be one of them, yes. I'll need to roll on my table of freak accidents, though. It's
Alright.
Rather large.
Well, I will use the chamber pot in here, then.
Alright. Go for it. It's done.
And then I go back to the other room.
Alright, you head back to the heir's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are.
And I guess I shall grab a book and I'm gonna spend the day and then sneak out during the night. I guess the question is, with all the background that we've made for him, does he snore?
Frederick? You didn't hear...
No, my character.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you snore?
Well, I guess I would have been told if I snore. That's something
I
I
mean,
should know.
do you have a significant other who you've spent many nights with and would know your sleeping patterns intimately?
Back during the gypsy days.
Oh, all right then. So tell me, does the assassin snore?
We're gonna say no. He stays pretty active, pretty fit. Gonna cut down on a lot of the sleep apnea. I'm gonna say no. All right. So I am going to read for, well, you know what? I'm probably pretty damn tired. I will have to sleep under the bed in case someone were to come in here.
So back to the bed, crawling under it.
This is going to be a sucky day.
The book that you have pulled off the shelf is called The Golden Compass. It's the story of a young woman on a grand adventure. It's a young girl on a grand adventure. She is an excellent liar. She is also a really good manipulator of adults and seems to have this like spiritual essence part of her that exists outside of her body that she can communicate with.
I sound disappointed. Like, another dystopian fiction with a female character. I was hoping for a book, about polar bears or dirigibles or something.
And a page later, my God, there's a hot air balloon in here. Oh, manned by a Texan? You don't know what a Texan is, but he's in the hot air balloon, or he's hauling this hot air balloon across the frozen northern wastes.
Oh, a Texan. Is that like from one of the infernal realms? Perhaps he's a demon? If only this book would have demons, that would surely make it more interesting.
Perhaps, yeah. But you find yourself yawning and falling asleep before you can get to the part about the giant armored polar bears.
Yeah, that was the part that got me. It was like, okay, so polar bears, basically nature's ultimate land killing machine.
But this time with armor, and they can talk, and they can't be tricked or lied to. Yeah.
Yeah, just someone said, no, polar bears aren't terrifying enough.
Yep. Anywho, you while away the day under the bed.
Yeah,
hiding.
so I put the book back because I don't think that this guy is a big reader, so I'm going to replace the book.
It's also it's like a young kid's book, Sure, it might be wonderful and entertaining for adults to read, but the designated audience is children, and this is his childhood room, so probably hasn't picked it up in a decade.
All right. So I sleep under the bed. I guess I don't continue reading the book because I feel like, that it probably starts out with all these great special effects, but then they really big name actors and whatever play they based on this, but then they probably never made the sequels.
It'd be unfortunate. I hear the sequels are great. I hear they take you into other worlds.
Yeah, if only they'd made the plays out of those.
Oh well. You sleep and wake up sometime later in that day and wait and wait. What do you do to while away the time while you're waiting and not reading?
Well, once I'm back awake, I will read.
Go read again. Okay. So you've got the book and you can hang out under the stairs and read. Where did you learn to read, Mr. Peasant?
D&D does just sort of assume you can read, doesn't it?
5e definitely does. It assumes you're an advanced adventurer. Which, you've got all sorts of excuses why you could. Where did you learn to?
I'm thinking that the old wise woman in the gypsy.
You learned to read from an old gypsy
caravan.
woman?
Yes, that she was actually very intelligent, and she read up on things to like old stories and things to put into her prophecies that she made up around her crystal ball, and to put strange references and things. And he taught me how to read once I joined the gypsy.
Okay. So the day passes, evening falls, the sun goes down. There's no sign of Frederick. You haven't had anything to drink in 24 hours. No food for 24 hours isn't that big of a deal, but you're getting thirsty.
Oh, well, if only I had a wineskin full of the finest. Oh, wait, I do.
Sure, go ahead and drink that wineskin. Give yourself multiple more excuses to go to the bathroom and get caught.
Basically, I'm just sipping to relieve my thirst. I'm not trying to get drunk or...
Right, it'll still flow through your system, but you can sip on your wine. It's dark, sun has set, and there is no Frederick in the room yet.
How long after sunset are we?
Half an hour.
Looking out the window, how dark is it?
As if the sun had set half an hour ago.
So still somewhat light.
Yeah, but mostly dark, 95%.
Is this window big enough to crawl through?
Yeah. It's a glass, it's a pane of glass in a window that opens and shuts. Right now it is shut with a little latch locking it. Not a heavy-duty latch, but it's enough to prevent the window from being opened from the outside.
Alright, so it would be obvious that I wouldn't have a way, or, well, in a way, could I reverse pick the latch from the outside to relatch it?
Maybe. You would be in some trouble with that, though, because you would have to be, hanging on to the outside of the building and then trying to pick a window with one hand. Might be a little difficult to do.
Yeah, to pull that off, I'd probably need some sort of specialized magic item that increased my ability to climb easily.
You might need something like that. Yes. Was that what you want to try then?
Wondering if I should wait for it to get a little darker. This is so frustrating that basically I could just kill him so easily.
But it's not just about killing him, it's about doing it secretly and quietly so as not to rouse suspicion.
I know.
What you do, Rob, it's how you do it that's important in life. Know that.
I know, it's just so... Yeah, he was right there. All right. So I guess I'm gonna wait another half hour for it to get even darker. And I'm going to open the window, take a look around. I'm going to spend a little bit of time watching if there are guard patrols. I'm going to get a timing if there are.
You do hear some guards walking around, or what sounds like guards. There's a jingling of chain. Come and sort of go. Kind of quiet. Maybe not a half hour later, the door opens and in walks Frederick, giving a bit of a yawn. So that's fun. And moving on into the...
Well, hang on. You didn't give me a chance. You just
Oh.
went over half an hour here. So I was just trying to get a sense of, was there like a minute, a couple minutes between each patrol? Did they see, watching them, did they seem to be very purposeful? Like, this is my patrol route? Were they just sort of like, wandering around being a guard aimlessly?
So how long would you need to listen to determine?
I was gonna watch.
Watch
So
the outside?
window.
Watch the inside? Outside.
Watch out the window. I was trying to watch the patrols out the window.
You actually don't see any guards patrolling the outside after the sun goes down.
Oh. All right. Well, that was what I was worried of. No, I thought you said there were like
no. On the inside, the inner hallways, you hear the jingling of guards' armor and stuff. But on the outside, it's no foot soldiers during the day or during the night.
Okay. Well, that makes it easier. I'm going to climb out the window then, and I'm going to try to reverse pick the latch back on. I'm gonna, as I'm closing the window, I'm going to sort of, have the. In fact, what I'll even do is get like a thread, a little loop of thread, loop it around the latch. As I pull the window shut, I've got the thread sort of holding the latch up, and as I push the window closed, then I can pull and break the loop of thread, so that this is just a loop, a loose loop. Both the ends will come out. There won't be a telltale loop of thread hanging around it, and the latch should fall into place.
Fantastic.
See if it does.
Why don't you give me a lock-picking check, or a thieves' tools check, and a climbing check. Now, your gloves of swimming and climbing will give you advantage, but I'm going to also want disadvantage, or I want to cancel that advantage because of the awkwardness of like trying to pick a lock at the same time.
All right.
That thieves' tools roll is not super good though.
All right. Did it? Well, I thought I had a pretty good idea there. Did it? That enough just for a latch to fall into place, or do I need to jiggle it a little?
Is a natural 1. Give me your climbing check. Let's take them together.
All right. So you're letting me use acrobatics, or does it have to be athletics?
Acrobatics will work for this, but no advantage on it because it's canceled out.
Okay. 16.
All right. So you can definitely hold yourself in position to do this. I think your plan is working. You've got the thread, you're pulling it, you're lowering the window, and something happens, and your grip slips, and the window comes and just like slams shut, which, forces the lock closed and successfully locks the window, but it's kind of like a whap as it does so. And here you are on the 3rd floor, which in this situation is actually 30 feet up because the ground floor is quite tall. On the side of the building, 30 feet above. I think there's a shrubbery right outside of you, like right below where you're standing.
Is there a herring?
It's too dark to see if there's any herring. But yeah, you're right here. So there's definitely...
I'd be cool not to anticipate herring where there's a shrubbery.
Anyway, you're on the side of the building.
All right.
I'm
going to have to hope that... given that this is a giant mansion full of tons and tons of people going about their business, that one window being closed loudly isn't that hard to have happen. I imagine there's lots of noises.
Yeah, there's probably lots of noises. Don't be concerned about it.
There's nothing I can do about it right now. I can't turn back time.
What do you do?
I am going to try to stealthily make my way out towards the shrubbery.
You come down the step, down the building, hopefully unspotted, seemingly unspotted. It's a very nice stealth roll.
Stealth, yes. I'm the wind.
And where'd you go?
I am going to move along the shrubbery. I feel like that might be the most shadowed place.
I'm going to bring you to a ground floor.
Yep.
All right, so you're here?
Yeah, and so basically I'm going to follow the shrubbery, headed back to my entrance point, but looking for any other ones. I mean, if there's another one before I get to my entrance, then I'll be happy to use that.
When you say your entrance, you mean entrance point into the estate or into that building?
Into the estate. Remember, I went under the shrub.
Right. Okay. You can scurry back to that. You've got a 26 on your stealth roll. No one beats that with their active perception rolls, and you can easily escape the estate. Make your way back to...
Before I do... Okay, I was going to say, before I go under the shrub, I do, check to make sure there's no... Just in case they found it and we're clever and we're trying to lay any sort of trap or any sort of thing. I do check around it before I go through my...
Yeah, it's clear. It doesn't look like there's been anything here. And you make your way successfully back to Galita.
All right. And I use... I try to erase any sort of tracks or any telltale in the dirt that I go under in case someone should examine this.
Whew. You're free. Escaped.
All right. You know what occurs to me?
Didn't go back to your inn last night, and now you're showing up very late at night?
Well, no, I've been sick. I might have stayed in my room all day. Remember how sick I've been.
Yeah.
And I'm sure no one's keeping track of me.
Yeah, you're the only customer in the inn. There's no reason why they would check up on you if you were feeling unwell.
Well, I was going to other inns for food, or someplace else for food anyway. So I'm thinking that when all these guests arrive, they're bringing their own servants. And so there'll be a ton of people that no one recognizes. Whereas I probably can't imitate a person who works in the estate because they would all know each other the same way you would recognize anybody in your high school class, in third period or something, because you see them all the time.
But you might not recognize your third period friends' servants.
Yes. I can tell you, I hardly ever recognized any of my friends' servants. I mean, I really didn't pay much attention to them. They were, subhuman.
I mean, they're around, but they're not really the sort of thing that you focus on, right? They're just...
Yeah, they're just kind of talking tools,
Yeah. I mean, pay attention to the lower classes. That's how you uplift them. So ignore them.
Yeah, they're just there to open your Doritos for you, or wipe your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Carefully, get the little dipping bowls to get all the orange powder from the Doritos off your hands, so you don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, sometimes it's nice to be able to have it on your fingers so you can lick them off. But if you've got a particularly good servant, you can just lick their fingers.
Yeah, I used to have them reach into the bag after I finish it off and rub their hands around on the bottom just to get the orange dust.
Oh.
Yeah.
You must have had really good, and mine wouldn't do that for me.
Oh, you should have fired them.
But, old family friends, been working for the family for generations. 90. I felt bad. Shouldn't have, though. I was young and
Yeah, you have to have standards. When it's like that, you fire them out of a catapult. But
All right, well, I think this might be a good spot for us to actually take our first break and come back
All right.
on the other side of the break with a little bit more assassination. See you guys soon. Bye. For those of you watching right now, do you have any ideas or thoughts on how our assassin might complete his mission today? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ascend.
Hello.
You are in. I've already forgotten the inn's name. In Goleta. Small rundown
Where's the
place.
lemon tree?
The Lemon Tree, fantastic. Run by a lovely couple. Just want to make sure that their customers are fine. You make it back to your inn room. You sneak in through the window. Find all your stuff, more or less where it was. And exhausted after a day and a night of barely resting and lying on very uncomfortable floorboards, you pass out in a lovely, much-deserved rest.
Yeah.
You wake up the next day to the sound of raindrops on your rooftop.
Yeah.
Yes, this Goleta area tends to get a lot of rainfall.
Does it? I'd heard that it was in like its 20th year of a drought.
That's what we in the what do you call it? The weather services of Eridon would like to call false weather reports. That's not the case. They get lots and lots of rain here. And
Alright.
anyone telling you that there's not enough rain is clearly a spy trying to undermine the authority of the land. Because this place rains a lot.
Alright. I will try to make myself visible to try to run into the inn
Gotcha.
owner.
Yeah. You definitely can run into them. When you pop your head out of your bedroom, you immediately see they both look towards you. And the woman puts her hand over her heart and says, "Oh, bless you. We were a little worried you had died."
I felt like I was going to a few times. I just been feeling really horrible and sleep, and then not being able to sleep and having to go out for a walk. Just trying to be able to go back to sleep.
Well,
It's been a rough few days.
she comes over towards you and puts a hand on your forehead, feeling it for temperature, and says, "Well, you feel better. You feel cooler. Do you feel better?"
Oh, getting there. It's. I can't remember. Am I supposed to starve a cold and feed a fever, or feed a fever and feed a cold and? I couldn't remember which one I was supposed to do.
For both of them, you just stay wrapped up with lots of blankets and lots of fluids, and try to intentionally overheat your system. That's the way to do it.
Try to intentionally overheat myself.
Mm-hmm. That tends to get rid of any illness.
Yes, that certainly sounds evidence-based.
The very finest evidence in the land. My God.
Yes. This just ended up being a much longer stay than I had imagined. This is beautiful land around here, though, and I'll just try to distract her from me by asking about and being extremely interested in any little local things about the town and the area.
Yeah, they'll chat with you. It's a rainy day. They don't really have much outside work to do. So they'll talk with you about the local issues of the day. All the rain that they have here sometimes causes mudslides, which are problematic for the area. Trails get washed away and have to be reformed, but luckily they've got the good Lord Drooper that really supports the local community and helps them in times of problems. a couple years back, a whole bunch of houses got wiped out on the far east side of Galita. And Lord Drooper actually paid to have the homes rebuilt for the villagers who lost them, just out of his own pocket, just to make sure that the little town would keep working and keep functioning.
Oh. That is cool. Good to have a lord like that. That is in this family line. Have they always been such great lords? Is that how this land came to be so bountiful?
I couldn't say if that's how it became bountiful, but the Droopers have always looked over us, and they've always done a good job. My gran used to talk very highly of the old Droopers of years gone by.
And so his heir is a similar good character, I imagine. Looking forward to many years of...
Well, my gran used to have a saying. She would say that the pie doesn't start out baked. It does, you create, when you're making a pie, you put in all these ingredients and it starts out a little raw, and you wouldn't want to just eat a raw pie with the extra raw egg in there. You could get salmonella or something, and it needs some time to really cook before it's a delicious and good pie. The young Lord Drooper will one day be a fine leader, I'm sure. Thankfully, he has many, many years to fully bake.
That's true. You wouldn't want to eat a pie before it was baked. That would be like eating the uncooked dough of a cookie.
Well, that's actually quite delicious, but an unbaked pie is just impossible.
I do my best to, as we talk, to start looking. I mean, I can't quite make myself go pale, but I can slowly look a little more strained and drained, as if I'm trying to be strong and pay attention, but I'm seem to lose my focus here and there, or get sort of stare glassily at times. Try to give them a sense that, I don't know, he's not all the way well.
Right. They'll make small talk with you for as long as you want. They'll leave you alone whenever it is that you want.
All right, I'll go make another appearance for my meal at the tavern.
The Mercury? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You're over there at the Mercury. It's a very, very slow day. You're the only patron. A little fire going to make the place cozy on this dark and stormy day. The proprietor is standing behind the bar, staring out wistfully into space, sipping a cocktail of sorts.
Okay. Has there been additional traffic on the road, piano men and bakers, and et cetera, yet?
The piano man should have come yesterday to tune the piano, and the baker should have come yesterday to deliver samples. There will probably still be people coming in to prep for the party for days.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's gotten to a point where somebody might notice it, in the stream of various people to do things for the party.
I mean, what do you mean?
Trying to see if there's enough traffic that I can go, hey, what's with all those people on the road?
So just looking out the window, looking for foot traffic, sort of thing.
Yeah, just basically if I could have an in to innocently see what I could find out about the party from the inn.
Ain't no one traveling this day. It's a wet, rainy mess.
Oh, true.
Yeah. I think today's the 5th day. We're just gonna call it the 5th day since I don't have my notes from one. That's about right, though.
How far away is where I meet with Ripley?
Maybe a 2-hour walk down the road on a dry day. Probably like a 3-hour walk on a wet day.
All right. I need to at least find out the names of houses. I can't just say, make some, find out who the guests are. I mean, then I wouldn't really be doing my job. All right. I guess I'll return at dinner when, especially when folk from the estate show up. I imagine that it's the party is a big topic of conversation.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and at first I'll try to listen without drawing attention to myself or bringing up the party just to see what information I can glean. I'm particularly interested in the names of any houses of the guests.
Sure.
So
Why don't you give me a deception check and we'll see how much info you get. Oh, quite nice. Yeah, you can get all sorts of stuff. So there are many guests in attendance. You will get the last names of a few of them. What else did you want?
Any additional information about the party itself or anything like that? And my main goal was to get the names of houses so that I can say to Ripley, okay, I need tabards with the sigils of this house and that house. But any information would be good about activities. What kind of things do they have planned?
There is a young Lady Redshield coming who seems to be the talk of this tavern right now. She's one of the higher-ranking nobles that might be in attendance here. There's also a Mr. What was a Mr. Silverfire. That's it. Write this down so I don't forget this time. A Mr. Silverfire, who is apparently our young lord's closest friend. The two of them go out riding very often. They've known each other their whole lives. He's that same handsome young man that you heard the two maids talking about when you were in the bedroom. Mr. Tom Silverfire. I'm sorry, Neil Silverfire. And the Lady Redshield's name is Chloe. And there is a Darwin Finkelstein that will be here as well. The 3 names that you pick up right now.
Okay. So it's Chloe Redshield,
Neil Silverfire, and Darwin Finkelstein.
Right. Does Lady Chloe Redshield have hair of an interesting hue?
It's kind of brown. I'm not sure how you figured that out, but it's kind of brown.
Oh, for some reason, I thought perhaps it might be pink or blue. All right.
No.
I ponder to myself. Normally, these self-inserts only happen in grand finale episodes. Perhaps this is to be my last. Well, sounds good. I'm getting some good information. I will go to bed. Hope for a sunnier day tomorrow. Better travel.
See. Yep, the storm passes, and it is the 6th day. The party is in 8 days.
All right, I'm gonna go out looking for Ripley.
All right. You can find Ripley at a little roadside inn where you guys often meet, a little roadside tea shop, and you can get whatever you need from her. What you need.
All right. I tell her I would like appropriate servants' tabards for, and I'll tell the 3 houses.
Servants' tabards for the Red Shield family, the Silverfire family, and the Finkelstein family.
Finkelstein family.
Okay.
Help me move bounds. And I let her know the idea here that, once the party starts, there'll be plenty of unrecognized faces.
She tells you that it's going to take a little while. It'll probably take 5 days to get something like this made in a place that no one will ask any questions, where it can then be transported here surreptitiously. So give her 5 days, and she'll have it good for you.
All right. I know that's plenty of time. Party. And I guess I shall just... have to bide my time. Be more... I'm going to gather information in the evenings, and I'm also going to, for my inquisitive hosts, I will pretend that on one of my walks that, she's probably going to want to check my ankle if I say I twisted my ankle.
She's going to definitely want to check your ankle. It's exactly the sort of very kind and helpful woman that runs this.
All right, could I locate some poison oak?
You could probably find some poison oak, I suppose, yeah. It's definitely in and around Galita.
Wonder if I should just irritate my ankle to get it red and swollen.
You're going to willingly expose yourself to poison oak?
I'm wondering if I'm going to make this.
Nothing's worth that suffering. Rob, do it.
I guess I'll just fake kind of a relapse.
Sure. Now the question is, how are you going to kill someone in secret? Party. I can see how you can get in, disguised as somebody else's servant. How do you surreptitiously kill?
Well, I think I might have to go with opportunities, where a drunken fall down the stairs might be what I have to figure out. I'm just thinking with the party going on, people going out, the Lord sort of wandering, like maybe he went to go visit one of his friends in the night or something, or sneak into some lady's room is a lot more believable, whereas without the party going on, they're like, what was the Lord doing out in his room?
Right. Sneaking into somebody's room, does think he'd actually have to sneak when he's inviting everyone over to his own estate?
If he's, you don't always let all your friends know that who you're hooking up with in your friend circle, or maybe it's just a friends with benefits thing going on, or maybe somebody's already got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they're doing a little drunken hanky panky. It seems like he might be running in that kind of crowd.
So the idea is to wait until it's late and knock him down a flight of stairs.
That might have to be what I do. I might, if he drinks a ton, then I might simulate some alcohol poisoning.
Okay.
See if I can. Maybe I can make him drown in his own vomit. Not like they can dust for vomit.
That's true.
They can't tell if it's his vomit or somebody else's. Actually, I might want to get a poison for that. Something that will kill him, and then I can simulate alcohol poisoning. All right. Do I have your poison info, George, or something, for a good poison for that? I didn't think I would need to do poison for.
You have access to common and uncommon poisons. Let's see. What do you want?
I want something that will simulate. It'll be as close as possible. They're not really leaving anything. Do a thorough job.
Thorough job of killing?
Killing him.
Okay, so you're looking for, let's see, maybe a hemotoxin would cause some serious deadly problems, and you've got access to a pair of those.
Are they going to leave any sort of telltale signs that someone would go, this was an alcohol poisoning, this was...
if they are...
Hemlock causes the lips to turn blue and blah, blah, blah.
Both of the hemotoxins are injection poisons. So you could give it to him as like an ingested poison, but it would have problems. I think he would get a bonus to his saving throw against it. Your neurotoxins... Do you have any ingestion? There are two.
I thought a lot of the basic ones were, I thought.
Yeah. So you've got some ingestion, neurotoxins, and necrotics. Ingestion, neurotoxin. Yeah, so we've got some belladonna here, or some deathcap mushrooms. You'd need to feed him quite a bit to kill him, unfortunately. Your necrotic, common ingestion would be sour root. Really unlikely to kill you as well. The narcotics, the milkweed and mandrake root, wouldn't necessarily kill him outright, but it would definitely put him to sleep. Might be useful for you. And the hemotoxins are injected, but you could, if you get him to eat them, he'll get a bonus to his save. So it's workable.
But nothing that's just like a straight out ingest and die kind of thing.
Nothing that is a straight eat this and you're highly likely to die. No. Those would be some of the more rare poisons. Do that for you. A good ingestion hemotoxin. The Abris seeds. Those are pretty dangerous.
What about, I guess we don't have good old Karari. Wasn't that ingestion? It's not.
That is a rare injection neurotoxin.
You wouldn't think it was rare from how often it showed up in all those, kids' mystery books where you had to solve the mystery.
Yeah, but of course the really exciting rare ones are the ones that show up in mystery books.
Now is how I learned that it smells like bitter almonds. Although I've got no idea how bitter almonds smell as opposed to regular ones.
I have never messed with curare in any way, so I have absolutely no idea. I can provide you no insight on this.
All right.
Nope.
I don't know. Maybe we gotta smother him with a pillow.
Put him to sleep with a narcotic and then just smother him.
That might have to be what I do. They're a good ingestible narcotic.
Oh yeah, there are two very good ingestible narcotics. You've got the milkweed, which has a longer duration and a shorter onset time, and is generally more likely to outright kill or outright just like make him be super drowsy. And then there's the mandrake root, which takes a little bit longer to kick in and has a shorter duration, but it's cheaper. I don't think for you cost is an issue, right? You're loaded with money.
Relatively. All the poisoning all those horses did cost quite a lot.
Yeah, I still think you've got like 14,000 copper on you, and a single dose of milkweed is only 2,500. So you are sitting pretty.
How detectable, just in terms of flavor, are those? I've got the poisoner knowledge. I'm an assassin. I should.
The mandrake root is it's kind of sour. And it needs to be like ground up or turned into a tea of sorts, because it by itself, you'd have to chew the root, which is way too obvious. So if you can grind it or turn it into a tea, it's a little bit sour. The milkweed is sort of flavorless. It's kind of like a milky, latexy substance, but it is water soluble if you mix it enough. Probably the best way to go.
All right, I guess let's double dose milkweed.
All right, so you buy 5,000 copper worth of milkweed. That is 2 doses. How are you planning on delivering it to him?
I think it'll have to be opportunity. Might have to, whether mix it into his wine or, bring him a tray of snacks or something and dose them. Okay. I'm just thinking a lot of this is going to have to be improvisational. Just have to put myself in a situation and wait to see what happens. That's why I'm trying to find out what the activities of the plan for the party are, how long the party lasts. Is there like, oh yes, and then they're gonna play laser tag on the lawn on the second day or whatever.
Okay. You have,
and they're bringing a pony.
So you have 5 days.
At a bounce house.
God, if only.
I'll kill him in the bounce house.
You can't kill anyone in a bounce house. It's physically impossible. Murder just can't happen there. It's too fun. You've like 5 days before Ripley shows up with your poisons and your costumes. And in those 5 days, you can discover some information. You've already passed 1 deception check to gather information here. And give me another deception check while you hang about in town. This one to sort of ease over the suspicion that you might, the stranger in town for a while. Pacify the local story. All right, so this is definitely something we have to deal with then. It's been almost a week since you first arrived here in town. You're hanging out at the Mercury one day looking for information when the bartender comes over and says, so fella, what are you doing here?
I was running a message up to, let me scroll the map up. Tharnham. Not an urgent message, luckily. I think I must have had something. I think my rations must have been bad. I was coming up the road and I give like a whole story full of, unpleasant details about how I was walking. And then it felt like my stomach was kind of rumbling, but I thought, no, I'll just walk that off. And then, and I give the whole unpleasant sort of food poisoning-ish story, and talking about being feverish. I don't specifically make it food poisoning because that tends to go away fairly quickly. And how I'd been trying to push through in the rain. So I figured, just a little bit of rain, that's not going to hurt me. And that, I got sick, and and I talk about how my grandmother always had a delicate constitution, but I didn't think that would. I didn't think I would have been hearing that, but I don't know. They deception check to try to get him in the story. I try to act like the important details. Like I don't think he's being suspicious of me. Like, those sort of like I'm sort of focusing on, like, well, I don't know. Do you think I might have gotten like her bad constitution, and then just sort of like asking details as if I'm trying to decide if I'm like especially susceptible to these. Go, well, there was that one time, when I was a kid, and I had the measles, and it was like out for like 2 weeks. But I mean, that's not too unusual, though, is it? I mean, how long do kids normally get the measles for? And kind of steer it that way, as if that's what I'm more concerned about. And I do a deception check to try to.
Yeah, give me a deception check at disadvantage because she's already a little suspicious of you. 13 is pretty good. That's better than her passive, it's not intuition, insight. So she'll nod and go, all right, well, I hope you don't lose your job.
Because I don't think it's going to be an issue. It's just I'm just delivering. It's mainly personal correspondence.
But a week delay seems pretty serious.
Maybe. I mean, if it was like a business deal or something like that, then I would have pressed on no matter what. This just sort of personal letters between a father and a daughter. So I think they send them out like once every month or two. I don't think the delay is going to be as noticeable. Did I say, why do you think I could lose my job over this?
I wouldn't hire a runner who showed up a week late. But that's none of my business, Far be it from me. I'm not hiring runners at all.
I look kind of nervous. Do you think I should just try to push on?
Hey, don't let me tell you how to live your life. She goes back to polishing a glass.
Ever notice how the people that say, don't let me tell you how to live your life, are the people that
are trying to tell you how to live your life? Like they're trying to provide cover for their own hypocrisy.
Yes. Yeah, it just seems like there's certain people that anytime they accuse somebody of something, you're like, okay, clearly you're doing that.
Mm-hmm. There are definitely people.
Yes.
So, let's just go ahead and skip a few more days. Actually, give me another deception. Give me just 4 more deception checks in general to see how much more information you can gain while out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you'll get 3 more good pieces of information. The party has been fluctuating in date. the young Lord Frederick has decided that it really needs to be a longer party. It should be a 5-day party instead of this 3 or 4 day affair that he had before. So they're increasing the length of it, which means that there is more food, more party supplies, more liquor, more beer that's having to be brought in.
Masquerade ball? Where everybody's in disguise?
It is not a masquerade ball where everyone is in disguise. At least not the first 3 days of the party. We haven't heard about the changes to the last 2 days. Let's see, so we've got people attendance, celebration. One of the events of the party is going to be a horse race through the woods. There's a loop that they do on the north side that heads out to the hills and back. It's about a 30-mile loop. The objective is to see who can do it the fastest. There will be servants at the halfway mark with refreshments. So, you can race your horse halfway, stop and have a pint, and then race your horse back.
That's an interesting one. That could fit with my original plan. What day is that?
That is day 3. Part of the activity, day 3. You've heard that there's going to be a lot of dancing in the evenings. They've got a ballroom on the 2nd floor of the estate, which is going to be filled up. Well, I shouldn't say. There's going to be an orchestra that comes, a 4-piece. I guess that's not an orchestra, but a 4-piece string quartet. That's the word. String quartet. Who will play all of the days and will be staying at the, what do you call it? The Lemon Tree. You don't play any instruments, do you?
I don't think I do.
They'll be staying at the Lemon Tree. They'll be playing the whole time. There are also, it's going to be a large shipment of ice brought up from High Castle, created by the wizards there, that will supply the party with cool drinks for the whole time.
I did actually take a proficiency in performance.
Perhaps you know an instrument then?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I made this character. I'm trying to remember if I had just intended that for singing, or I don't have an instrument on my...
Yeah, we didn't get you a specific instrument, so maybe it's a acting proficiency thing.
Yeah, I might have intended that to kind of go with the acting.
I think so. Okay.
Character went through a few different evolutions as I came up with good ideas, and then I was told that those were now on the banned list.
Yep. Horse races, string quartet, ice shipment, 5-day party. You also hear that there are really not enough rooms at the estate for all of the servants and all of the attendees to stay. So after the servants are done attending their lords and ladies, they'll come and stay in the town here, out in Goleta. Of course, there's not enough room here in Goleta because it's really the only one inn. So various families are going to be putting up servants, temporarily for the week. Which, there are mixed feelings about quartering servants in people's houses. On the one hand, people seem pretty happy with it because the Drooper family's been good to them for so many years and not that big of an inconvenience. And on the other hand, it's like, really? You're gonna make I have to put up some random servant that I don't even know I only have the one bed in my house. What are we supposed to do? This is a nightmare. Right? Yeah, so that's the information you've got.
Alright. How many rooms are there in the Lemon Tree?
There's one private room and one public room. or large room.
Wow, that's not really there. I am gonna stay at 3 days before the party. 4 days before the party, I will, tell the innkeeper, I think you're probably right. I should probably. I'm still not feeling my best, but I should probably get moving if I don't want to get fired. Thanks for all the hospitality. This really is the good land. And I'll take off, making sure that I'm seen heading north. After I've been seen heading north, I'll loop around through the woodlands or whatever, head back down south to where I meet Ripley, spend a night there.
That small town called Summerland.
And I will then change my appearance fairly drastically.
What are you changing it to? A bird? A plane? A train? An automobile?
A train going through a tunnel. Yes, that way I can just use stock footage. So I'm going to wear a wig. I'm going to look wear traveling clothes, but look sort of official, and try to look like a not quite a courtesan, but maybe a fairly professional servant, and having sort of a dignified air about my way. And I will head back to the Lemon Tree.
So you'll head back the same day, but dressed as a different servant.
No, I spent the night.
Right. Sorry. You'll head back the next day, dressed as a different servant.
Yes, dressed entirely differently. I don't have a tabard or anything, but I'm wearing traveling clothes, but looking sort of leather gloves on, and a little bit of as if I'm maybe a servant to a wealthy lord or something. As if I have a bit of authority just if I feel I have a bit of authority speaking for my lord.
All right. You arrive back at the Lemon Tree. This will be, you said you left 4 days before the party, so this is 3 days before the party that you arrive at the Lemon Tree. This is the same day that Ripley can deliver your poisons and your costumes to you. Right. Your total worldly funds are now down at 8,500 copper.
All right. I'll actually take the whole bundle of my tabards and everything with me, and I will arrive in Goleta. I'm looking about. We went to the Lemon Tree. Is this the only inn in town?
Why, yes, sir, it is.
I'm looking to procure a few rooms. And as you probably know, but there's going to be a party up.
Yes.
Yes, and well, I understand there's not going to be enough sleeping space at the.
That's correct. We will be putting up some of the servants here ourselves. Unfortunately, we're a little shy on room right now.
Yes, that's why I was arriving ahead in order to secure a room.
Let's see. Well, the only thing that we have available is the private room. Its residents just checked out yesterday, just changed the sheets this morning.
How many can sleep in there?
Just one, unfortunately. I mean, I guess you could pile as many as you want, but it's a small bed. It's a small room.
I see that. Very well. We'll take that. It's the only room available. There's no other inns.
Unfortunately, no. I'm sorry. There is a tavern down the road, but they don't have any beds. Perhaps one of the... Perhaps the, call him. The stable master. Not stable master. Perhaps one of the farmers can lend you a loft. A loft in their barn. That's the word.
A loft?
If you need more than just one room, that's pretty much all you're going to be able to get around here, unfortunately.
I see. Well, I must secure this private room then before that's the least available. How much is it?
It'll be a silver a night.
Very well, very well. Let me see. I understand the party's been extended. Silver Knight, let's just... Slipper of gold. Let's just call this a gold then. Keep it secured.
All right. It is done.
Very good then. We'll have to see once the party is in progress who ends up there, but it's good to know that I've got it secured. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'll show you to your room, and that'll be that.
I suppose we could fit two on this bed if they get cozy.
Okay.
All right, very well then.
3 days till the party.
Yeah, and I'll head back down to where Ripley is, Summerland.
Hmm.
And I am... Guess what we shall do is I'll just spend a few nights here in Summerland. I'm guessing people might start arriving the day before the party. And so the day before the party, I will go take over my room in at the Lemon Tree.
Hmm.
I'll change... you know what? I'll pretend to be the guy who rented the room. He's sort of snobby. He might feel he deserves a private room.
Okay. So you come back as this miscellaneous servant that'll be attending the party here, right?
Yes.
Right. On the day before the party.
Yes.
So we are at day 13 out of 14, or day 13. I think you have 60 days to do this.
Yeah, my understanding there was quite a lot of time.
Lot of time. Nowhere near through it. Day before the party. You're arriving in Goleta for the second time. You have a room at the Lemon Tree. It doesn't look like the lovely and doting waitstaff recognize you. I've made some checks in secret, but it's not a guarantee that they won't ever recognize you. You know, you could accidentally slip out of character at some point and draw suspicion. Just as a heads up that they might still notice at some point.
All right. Well, I've got my good performance, and I've also have actor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's probably why they haven't noticed you yet, because I've been comparing their roles to your passive role, your passive stats, and it's been good so far.
Yes, I'm going to pretend to be Daniel Day-Lewis. Method acting is something else.
All right.
So I'll establish myself at the Lemon Tree that evening. I'm figuring a lot of people may have arrived by the evening, and in that character, I will go have dinner at the tavern. I imagine there'll be a lot of servants about. I want to start to see what houses might have already arrived.
Sure. The day before, the only people to have arrived are Chloe Redshield and Neil Silverfire. And they are staying at the estate as well as their servants. The servants will be migrating here tomorrow as the other bedrooms in the estate are taken over. But for now, they're all staying there as the sort of like day before pre-party. the ice shipment has come through, and the driver has actually broken off a big chunk of ice.
Oh
and
god!
brought it in here. And brought it here to the Mercury for the people to have. You know, just let's take 1% of the total ice volume and just give it to the people to enjoy cold drinks for the first time in their lives with, or cold drinks outside of winter.
All right. So I am going to probably want everyone to have arrived before I try to sneak in, so that there's much more commotion and hubbub and unfamiliar faces.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, is when everyone is supposed to arrive. I'm just basically going to go out for a walk, absent myself for a while, go to the tavern for dinner, get a better lay of the land this week here. That night again. This is the night that of the first day of the party when everyone has arrived, and pick up gossip.
Okay, so the first day of the party, you don't go to the estate, right?
No.
And then you're at the Mercury that night after all the servants have left the party?
Yes, so I'm figuring now there'll start to be servants.
Mm-hmm.
I can start to get a sense of who's there, who's not. I don't want to wear somebody's cabin. It's like, oh, that person didn't come, or they're not showing up until whenever.
Right.
And I want to have maximum commotion and chaos going on.
Absolutely. So that first night, there are only a few servants here in the Mercury, and they are sort of beat. They're talking amongst themselves, kind of loudly-ish, about the effort that it was to get here. You know, like, oh, the dirt road was just a mess. We had so many potholes on the way. I hear it's been raining a lot out here. You know, blah, 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 blah. Kind of going on about their woes and troubles getting here. And then later in the evening, maybe 45 minutes after they've arrived, they start talking about the first day down at the estate. This was the first ball was tonight. Everyone was dressed up in costumes with masks and big dresses and fancy suits. And it was quite a lot of fun.
You told me there weren't any planned in the first 3 days.
You know, plans changed. It didn't pop up on your radar. You got, I think, 4 out of 5 deception checks. It's all right. They're talking about this first day and how, since everyone was in costume, it was impossible to know who was doing what or how so. And a couple of the servants start, you know, talking about how they changed into their lords or ladies' outfits and participated in the ball for a couple of songs and quickly skirted off without anyone noticing and giggling amongst themselves about how none of the nobles realized that they were servants that they were dancing with. And they seem fairly titillated by that. And then when that conversation dies down and maybe an hour after they arrived, they seem wiped and they call it a night and head out to their various quarters staying.
Does it sound like pretty much everybody was there? I mean, it's a 5-day party. I don't hope it like people arriving 2 days fashionably late.
There's no talk of anyone missing. You definitely hear all those same names mentioned again.
Okay, so I take note of the people that are staying in the public room at the inn.
Mm-hmm.
What their tabards are.
The tabards of the people staying in the public inn? The string quartet is staying at the public inn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, what I was trying to do is I didn't want to go, say, you know, walking into the estate. I assume basically that in the morning or even just before dawn that a lot of the servants will be like getting up and walking, so they'll be ready to serve. And if, like, you know, I was falling in with a group from the inn here and they're like, hey, you're wearing Lady Redshield's tabard and we're Lady Redshield's servants and we don't know who the hell you are.
Right. Nice. Yeah, it should be fine, right? Should be fine. Everyone's staying in town. Everyone's in attendance. Feel comfortable that the large swath of servants that'll be walking to the party in the morning will just be, like a herd of children arriving at school at 8 o'clock. Just a big swarm, and you're not going to be able to recognize everybody.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure, like, if Lady Redshield's staff was staying at the inn in the public room, that I wasn't, like, wearing Lady Redshield's, be more likely to run into them.
Right.
Finkelstein sounds like a less, like maybe the noble that got picked on for some reason. What was his name? Darwin Finkelstein?
It was just Darwin Finkelstein.
Yeah, I think anytime you've got that many syllables and your first name is Darwin, that you're probably not sitting at the jock's court.
Sorry to all the Darwins out there.
Hey, not that I was either. And look how I turned out. So, yes, I was afraid of them all. So I'll wear the Finkelstein tabard. And as we go out, I'm assuming pre-dawn, people are going to, they'll be ready when their folks wake up and to draw their baths and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that'll make it much less recognizable. People, and I'll keep an eye out to make sure that if there are any other Finkelstein servants, that I, make sure I stay away from them so they don't start to go, hey, wait a minute.
Right. Okay. So we're going to go to our last break, and when we come back, we are going to see if our assassin can pull this murder off, or if he'll get caught, or if he'll attract attention and screw the pooch on the next mission. So we'll see you out of the break. Bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Assassin. Tonight's the night.
All right. So just to be clear, I suppose we should go over what I have with me, what I have on hand. So, I'm gonna have the other two tabards. I'm gonna wrap them. Basically, use my disguise skill here, and I will wrap them around my waist to make myself look a bit chubbier, and so that people aren't really like going. I can't really carry a backpack around. I will have. I mean, pretty much everybody has a knife just as a tool, for cutting their meat and everything else. So, I mean, am I right in assuming that that's just pretty much a standard tool everybody has?
Yeah. I think that if a servant is carrying a knife, it's not inherently suspicious, especially if the knife is, in a pocket somewhere, not strapped to your belt, because the objective is to blend in. So you could have a knife in a pocket, and probably wouldn't attract any attention.
All right, so I'm going to have the magic dagger ready in case I need that +1. Chame.
Remember, the dagger is a stiletto. It's not like a meat-cutting knife. It's a long, pointy blade.
Yeah, but unless somebody's searching me and comes upon me.
Right. Where are you going to hide it on you? That might become very important.
I'm actually going to stash that in my boot.
All right. Kiss is in the boot.
then yes, we got a booty kiss going on here, and I shall have the poison doses will be. I'm going to put them in a little, some little. I assume they're probably in some sort of little pouch.
Yeah.
What are they in?
They're in a small glass container. Like you might have like an eyedropper of something in the modern world, just minus the eyedropper. It's a very small glass vial with a lid that's just, the lid is just like a little piece of glass that sticks into it, so you can, if you wanted, you can take one drop out at a time, or you could just dump the whole thing out on something.
Alright. Oh, I thought it was like a powder?
No, it's actually a liquid. It's a creamy liquid. It'll need to be stirred into whatever fluid you pour it in, otherwise it won't, readily and quickly dissolve.
All right. Is the vial so delicate that I could not also keep that in my boot? Or?
You could probably keep it in your boot. It's glass, and it's fairly thick glass. It's actually probably pretty strong. You might actually have a hard time breaking it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll have that in the other boot, not the same boot as the dagger.
Right. I'm just going to say dagger, right boot, poison, left boot, in case, unless
Sure.
there's...
I am also in the same boot as the in the left boot. I will have the copper piece that I selected for this mission.
And what is the name of that copper piece?
That was for Alex, I believe.
Okay.
Anything else? Wish I could bring writing tools, everything. So for a servant, they would not have like a belt pouch or anything.
Probably not. This is a formal party. The servants are trying to look as elegant and, nice as possible. I can't imagine why a servant would need any belts on their pouch at a party.
All right. Do the servants wear gloves?
Some might, some might not. You could wear gloves and probably get away with it, although your gloves of swimming and climbing are not like elegant dinner party gloves. Do we have a picture of gloves climbing in the DMG? Sometimes there are pictures of items.
I think they have a picture of almost everything.
Gloves, gauntlets, gloves of missile snaring. No, we don't have gloves of climbing. But I think, as we can see, like, the gloves of missile snaring are quite...
They're kind of fancy.
Yeah, they're kind of obvious. I feel like your magical gloves are going to be similarly decorative and attention-drawing. They're not...
All right. In that case, they will go along with the extra tabards I have wrapped around my waist, like inside my tunic here.
Okay, so your gloves of swimming and climbing are in the tunic?
Yes, I'm definitely going to want those with me. So, like as I said, I'm guessing the way this works, I've got a tunic, I've got a tabard on over the tunic, and so my other two tabards I've got wrapped around my waist.
Like a belt?
Yeah, it's kind of like wrapping around me and giving the illusion of a bit of bulk. And I've arranged that using my disguise skill as best I can to just appear to be a bit overweight.
Right. And then you've got the dagger in your right boot, the poison in your left boot, and also a knife on hand?
Yeah, I guess I should just have a regular knife just for show, and that'll be in my pocket, like where it could be found quite easily because it's not being hidden.
Okay. And the poison and the copper. All right. Anything else that you want on you?
I'll just have to pick up everything else as I go, should I need it.
Okay. So no invisibility potion, no immovable rod. The boots of Elvenkind are on your feet?
Yeah, I'm assuming they're just... I mean, can I just wear those?
You could probably just wear those. I think under close inspection, someone might... they might be attention drawing, but casually... The what do you call it? What is the part of the boot that goes around your ankle and lower leg? The resin part of the boot, the neck of the boot will be sort of disguised by your clothes and your tabard that drapes low. So only the tops and the toes of the boot will be able to be seen.
All right.
However, should someone for some reason be crawling around at your feet, they might be like, "Wow, this servant has exceptionally nice boots of elven make." For now, it's probably fine.
And yeah, I guess I should have the invisibility. Just is that a container that could fit in my boot? I don't know how big that is.
That's like 5 ounces of fluid in a rounded flask.
All right. So if I take a, what if I were to transfer that into a wineskin? 5 ounces of fluid is not very much. The wineskin would still be almost pretty much flat.
That would, yeah.
All right. So again, I'll put that inside the tabard, inside the wrapping around me, so that I have it with me. I mean, those, it'll take a little bit of extra time to get out, but it should be flat across my stomach.
All right. Done.
That means I won't have a bunch of strong alcohol on me as I'd planned, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of alcohol to be found.
Definitely.
All right, so time to go to the party. So I straggle in with all the guests, with all the servants. How does that go? We just all straggle into the
yeah,
state?
so it's morning time when you're arriving, right? You're not coming in the evening.
No, I'm figuring everybody. I'm assuming that everybody is kind of getting up, or all the servants are sort of stringing in just before dawn so they can start their duties.
Absolutely. There's a long procession of scores of servants really walking to the estate. You pop up onto the grounds. They're all coming up along the main promenade. The servants of the estate have already rolled out the very nice carpets that cover the ground. The stairway leading in. Let's just first floor estate here. And all the way down. So you are coming in from the bottom of the estate. There's a whole bunch of other servants beside you, making your way up the main promenade here, all the way to the estate. I'm not going to flood the map with hundreds of servant tokens and around. That would just be insane. But here
I feel like it's breaking my immersion.
Use the theater of mind. Here you are in the small ballroom on the ground floor. This is what they refer to as the small ballroom. There are stairs that lead up off to either side, and you can overhear the servants around you talking about the banquet hall and how they need to get ready for breakfast because the banquet hall will soon be serving. You can actually take a quick peek around the corner and see the great banquet hall over here. And you can take a quick peek around the other corner towards the art gallery on the southern side. Doors are closed on right now, so I guess you can't see into the art gallery. And then here are the stairs that lead up to the second floor and the main ballroom. That jazz.
All right. And I'm going to make a point as I stride around, just sort of stride around very purposefully as if I'm going about a task. Um, and I'm gonna basically try to surveil at least the publicly open areas to get a sense of things. Just striding as if have been set to something.
Yep.
For Lord Darwin Finkelstein.
All right. Well, here is the second floor with the grand ballroom, and hop up here to see. It's quite large. You can see that the string quartet is setting up over on the right side of the map. I'm going to highlight their area in I don't even know what color this is. This is like a mauve, a soft purpley colory thingy. They're going to be over here somewhere. And if you come over here, near where the string quartet will be, you can see that there is a small theater here with chairs set up, a piano up front, and a raised stage area. There are a few actors over here setting up some tools. They're like setting up bowling pins and torches for juggling, and actors and acrobat combination sort of thing. It's a small little theater.
So basically, I totally have the skills to pass myself off as one of them.
Oh. There are doors that are currently open, that lead out onto the balcony on the second floor.
Okay.
That just sort of overlooks this way. It's a 20-foot drop from the floor of the balcony. From the railing of the balcony is like a 25-foot drop straight down. So it's a long ways.
Drop is for people that don't know how to climb.
Yeah. And then over here, you never got to see this area where you're scouting it out ahead of time, but down this area are the baths. There is the small hot bath in this room, and then the larger cool bath just a little down the way over here. Very first room is a cleaning supply room stuff. Baths. As always, the doors are marked with red dashes.
All right.
Oh.
It's occurring to me. I mean, I'm hoping that Finkelstein isn't like a super popular. I guess maybe I'm projecting because the guy I know named Darwin, or that I met, was just this total name dropper. It was just sort of like, I was in a room with 50 other people and that person, so it's kind of like good friends. I said something and he looked my direction. Made all the more ridiculous by this was at UC Santa Barbara. The names he was trying to drop were like physical sciences Nobel Prize winners. It was like, oh, okay, so
you've walked around the campus before. Yeah. Yeah. The only Darwin I've ever known has been pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Maybe maybe I'm projecting the kind of pathetic Darwin, and you've got a really cool Darwin in mind.
Yeah, I've got a cool Darwin in mind. You've got a pathetic Darwin in mind. The truth is probably somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, so I'm just realizing maybe I shouldn't make assumptions about Lord Darwin.
Thank you. That's very therapist of you. Very therapeutic of you. That's the way to say that. All right. And then we have the third floor, of course, which you have seen before, though in slightly different settings. So there are the stairways that lead down to the second floor are over here, and over here. And there's that stairway right in front of you that leads to the fourth floor. I don't think you've actually been around here. You haven't been on this side of this level.
Yeah, this place is just too damn cute.
Yeah, it's a big estate. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of hallways.
Yeah, this place is apparently like on a Versailles scale.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a door there. But this nice long hallway with corridors on either side. This is where all of the nobles will be staying, at least on the left side of these things. The right side, this is a tea room. This is a room for kitchen maids. The cook sleeps up in here. You know, these are the sorts of introductions you're getting as Walter the butler is showing the servants around in various groups so that everyone knows where everything is, in case they didn't catch it the first day.
All right.
Up here are the the guards that will keep us safe during this time. Reside in this room and on the equal room on the other side of the hall, on the far side, way down there, over here. That's where they'll be staying as well. We do have a knight on hand. His name is Kel Cotton Hill. He will be overseeing protection duties and will not be in costume at any point. Should any problems arise, do see him or myself. And large guest rooms will be here, here, and here. If you need the kitchen, you can find it back through this corridor and over behind this wall. It's a little difficult to get through, so here and over, find the kitchen. Servant stairs are in the back, of course, so please use the back entrance and the back staircase for all your comings and goings. The fourth floor is mostly servants' quarters. Of course, none of you will be staying there, but if you need it, the library will be up on the fourth floor as well, should one of your lords or ladies need a quiet space to get away. Fourth floor, eastern wing. And that's that. You now have your introduction to the estate that you've already sort of seen, but it's complicated and dark, and so many different doorways that are marked all over the place. It's a whole mess.
All right.
I
wonder if anyone would go to the library. Seems like the last place anyone would go to in this, right?
don't know.
They're at a party. Why would they go to the library?
Good party ranges over all the rooms of a household.
All right, I'm gonna go try that out. I'm gonna go up to the library. I mean, this household is huge.
Yeah. You head on up to the library. You find your way there. Here you are. We're in the library.
Okay, is anybody in here?
Yes. There is a pair of people, both gentlemen in this room. They're standing and looking at the bookshelves. One of them gives you a casual glance as you walk in. Neither of them are Finkelsteins. So they, after noticing you, they just go back to their conversation, pulling books off shelves and talking about them.
All right. I'm just gonna, if this is people in here, I'm just gonna sort of look in as if I was looking for someone and then part.
This door is actually probably open right now. It leads out onto the balcony, originally ascended. What now, Rob? You're at the party. It's going on.
All right. What's the event plan for today?
The event plan for today is... Today's day 2. The horse races are tomorrow. Today is the archery competition being held out back. Followed by just excessive drinking and carrying on and dancing and music.
Oh no, he drops the bow and it went off and shot him. Well, you always have the safety engaged.
Mm-hmm. You're getting the impression as you're listening to these people that despite their proper attire, this is the frat boy and sorority girl event of the season.
That's what I was.
Yeah, this is definitely the, hey man, let's see how many shots we can do and still hit the bullseye sort of party. This is the irresponsible college children, someone's gonna get themselves hurt party. You know, the one where someone thinks it's a good idea to skateboard off the roof and into the pool, and it's a great idea until like the skateboard hits the rain gutter and it comes to a dead stop and the person just falls and face plants on the tile before the pool and breaks their face. That's that sort of party.
All right. Imagining maybe I'll like break his neck, then take him up on the roof and sort of weekend Bernie him, move his arms around and use actor like, hey guys, I can land in that bush if I jump off here. Oh no, he acted like an idiot and publicly had an accident in front of everybody.
You know, it's so stupid, it just might work. Right.
All right, so I am going to, I imagine this should be not hard to acquire. You know, like a platter or a, basically like look like I'm delivering some alcohol.
Absolutely, there are trays of drinks being brought all over the place. The kitchen is over here. Not decorated though. Out to this hallway. Has the servant staircase down or back out to the main hallway with downwards faces here.
And I am going to so do a lot of walking around, you know, as if I'm delivering this, to cut down on the possibility of being recognized or not recognized. I'm going to obviously avoid any other Finkelstein servants.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to see as I'm going about if there are any storerooms, or I'm guessing they must have a lot of storerooms and things like that.
Yeah.
Big.
So this door before you here is the wine cellar. It's actually on the 3rd floor.
That's a strange cellar.
Super strange. And through the wine cellar is the pantry. Actually, the pantry sits between the wine cellar and the kitchen. And the only way to it is through one of those two places.
I'm looking more for like storeroom where they keep the Christmas decorations.
So you want to go down to the basement level.
Yeah, I'm looking for storerooms that nobody's going to poke their head into.
Well, down in the basement, which is accessible through the outside, you got to go out the back of the estate to get down here. There are quite stores of supplies. This place is loaded with all sorts of stuff, including a large handcart filled with ice. This has all the supplies you could need for a large party. Been stocked thoroughly.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm looking for a storeroom that no one is likely to access. It doesn't have anything needed for the party.
Oh.
You know, like where they keep the old report cards from when he was in 3rd grade, where, you know, his macaroni pictures, mom's wedding dress, blah blah blah.
There is a separate storeroom outside of the main building, over by the stables. You can get directed to it. There is a large building over there, maybe 55 feet by 35 feet or so, that has sort of like all the storage of things that you don't want at the estate itself.
All right. Basically, I'm looking for a place where I figure I'm much more likely to run into trouble during the day, and that I can't really pull anything off during the day. I want evening when it's darker. People don't recognize people from as far away, and people will be good and drunk. There won't be as many people around. Basically, I want to, I think, wait until after dark when the lot of the servants might have gone back.
Okay.
But
This
there
is
still
a
might be some around because they want people to, still bring them wine or something.
yeah. This is a good place to stay then, because this over here is our extra off-site storage facility. The Dudleys, the groundkeepers, live nearby, and I forget the groom's name off the top of my head. James the groom, the old man, whose job you might have been able to take, lives over here. And to the north are stables here, some pasture ground for the horses.
All right, I will dash myself over there.
All right. And you wait till evening.
Yes. And I make sure I'm well hidden.
Of course, of
I'm
course.
just standing in the middle of the place.
While you are well hidden, you're hiding out in this large warehouse.
How many trysts happen, which I have to sit through awkwardly?
You have to sit through at least one awkward tryst here, because sure enough, a pair of nobles are coming over.
Dudley's wife.
No.
He's so formal.
What it is, though, surprisingly, is the butler, Walter, is ostensibly showing Lady Redshield around the estate. And Lady Redshield's servant with her, and they send the servant off to go fetch something that she wants, come into the large warehouse, and the butler and the young lord's lady friend start making out in the storage room.
Okay, I for some reason I thought Walter was using your Neil old man voice, but I imagined him as older. I guess he's not.
No, he's a middle-aged man. He's probably 12 years her senior, and he's definitely of the servant class, and she's definitely of the upper noble class. Yet here they are in a dirty warehouse off to the side of a very fancy estate during a fancy party.
Was he
a moment to canoodle?
Was he a particularly good-looking older man? Is he a filth?
A filth?
I guess a father.
No. He's got some salt and pepper going on, decent features, well groomed because, he's the butler. But it appears that it's not so much just like a physical thing. They have this sort of had like this secret relationship for years now.
That's what I was going to try to determine, is if there seemed like there was an old connection rather than just like, oh, this is so naughty being with a servant.
No, yeah, you can hear, some of the... I'm not going to give you a full account of their back and forth conversation because no one wants to hear...
I think it's going to be pretty critical to the plot, Neil.
We don't need me to flirt with myself for a few minutes. That's too... No one wants to hear that.
Are we sure? Because let's put this into chat.
I am pretty sure no one wants to hear me flirt with myself. I feel comfortable enough that we can just make the executive decision that we're not going to do that.
I don't know. Check out chat, Neil. It's pretty unanimous.
I'm looking at chat and I see absolutely nothing. So, one of the things you do over here between these two star-crossed lovers is that this is the first place where they ever had a chance to be alone all those years ago.
I feel like a good DM responds to his audience. The show like this is almost kind of like audience participation. With the chat feature enables that, and that a real streamer takes advantage of all the tools at his disposal.
Perhaps. You might be right. So they're hanging out in the warehouse, and she's saying things like, "Oh, Walter, when will you leave the Droopers? You know that you were to be my personal butler. We wouldn't have to go through the charade. You would be together all the time." He says something back like, "No, they would get suspicious. One day you'll have to take a husband, and I don't think I could live in your house if you were to be married to another." Her reply something to the effect of, "Nonsense. You know that a marriage is just a political arrangement. You've seen it with the with the Droopers. Two of them, they're certainly not in love. We've seen how many mistresses and misters they've had moving about. You and I could have the same thing." Walter says, No, milady, I can't. My ancestors would be so ashamed of me if I were to do that. I must live out my life here with this job, but you will be my sole relief from the days of weariness serving these wonderful people. I look forward to each and every party. Let us have that together. Let us just have the joyful bliss of seeing one another every so often. And then there's just sloppy makeout sounds for a while.
All right. Yeah, just
and then there's the sound of the servant coming back, and they part ways and go to separate parts of the room, and they're talking about the horseshoes hanging on the wall, and Walter's saying about how this horseshoe was the one that came loose and threw the late Lord Drooper, killing him terribly. Most unfortunate accident. I don't know why the current Lord Drooper decided to hang it on the wall here, but he said he wanted to remember. And so here it hangs. Ah, good. The wine is here. Lovely. Shall we head up to see the stables? And the small party moves up towards the stables.
All right. Okay, so there's some information. Maybe at some point I can make use of that.
All right, Rob.
Uproar. So I spend, kill time here until party is well going in the evening. I'm sure that's when everyone's, at peak drunkenness and everything. And then I'll sort of do another reconnoiter. I get used to, just seeing what's going on.
So this is in the evening? Right. In the evening, the party is in full swing. Everyone is in the ballroom. And they're all dancing about not in costumes, but in formal attire, although you can see that some of the gentlemen have unbuttoned their top button, for shame, and taken their hats off. And some of the young ladies have removed their gloves and just kind of like tossed them onto seats unceremoniously. Servants are hurrying around to try and tidy things up.
Without showing any ankle.
No, it's not that scandalous yet. There are broken glasses as people are drinking and dancing and dropping things. They're getting quickly cleaned up, and it's a wild commotion. Everyone is distracted by everything around them, and here you are, focused, alert, looking for an opening.
All right. I look to see what Frederick is up to.
Lord Frederick has... Whoops. That's small. You notice him stepping out onto the balcony with a young lady, Chloe Redfield.
The same one I heard over in the...
The very same.
All right. I am going to try to pass by and hear what they might be saying.
Sure. The two of them are out on the balcony. Do you want to... Why don't you tell me where you're standing? Or
Oh, I
us
thought
where
you
you
meant,
are.
I thought you meant this other balcony by the stairs.
No. The front balcony, overlooking the entryway.
All right. In that case, what's the light level like in here? Could I get into one of these alcoves and be somewhat
Yeah,
hidden?
sure. I mean, you wouldn't be like invisible. There's still people like all around you.
Yeah, so I'm
dancing.
wondering like how many people there are up on this level. Is this a
Oh,
ball?
there's like 20 people in this ballroom. Yeah, it's pretty busy. We're trying to populate it with noble tokens.
Okay, I didn't know if they were just sort of discreetly off in the balcony.
The two of them are sort of discreetly off on the balcony, but you inside wouldn't be discreet. That makes sense.
All right, so are these stairs? It looks stairs are down below.
Yeah, right there, those are stairs that head up a little bit towards the
Okay.
baths.
What goes down below the balcony?
The stairs out here.
Yeah, like if I wanted to be on the grounds below where I could be
Ah.
hidden, hear what they say.
Yeah, we can bring you down a floor lower. Balcony would be right there. Those columns in front of you reach up to help support the balcony above.
All right, can I be hidden back here and here? Okay.
Absolutely.
Are there people out in this yard, or is
No.
all-
Everyone's up on the second floor.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hide myself here and try to listen.
It seems that the young Frederick has a thing for this Lady Redshield and is trying to convince
Dude,
her.
I should rock pen and ink. Oh well.
And is trying to convince her that the two of them would make a formidable partnership. Down the road, of course. He's not quite ready to settle down with anyone, but like, in 10 years they could, maybe in 5 years they could get married and join their houses, and he's gonna need a good wife, and she's got a good head on her shoulders, and his family is higher in status than hers, so it would do well for her to climb the ranks. You can hear her going,
Boy, he's a charmer.
Yeah, no love between these two. And you can hear her sort of like hemming and hawing and trying not to directly answer the question while she thinks about as she puts it, the consequences of these actions.
Okay.
They're up there for a while.
All right, so I'm gonna listen to this. I'm trying to get a sense of how she speaks, of how he speaks, of the verbal tics, of little turns of phrase they might have, vocabulary, things like that.
Yeah. Yep. Give me a sort of check would that be? I want something from you to properly that be a perception check. See how well you can notice all the little details. Oh, you notice all the little details of their speech patterns.
Okay. All
I
right.
hate to put a rush on this, but we don't have a lot of time left today.
Yes. I'm going to go now to look for a room that has a desk or something. I'm looking for pen, ink, and paper that I can swipe.
Pen, ink, and paper. Well, there's probably pen, ink, and paper in the library. That would be easy to get to.
All right, I head to the library.
Right. We bring you to the library. That is not the library. That is the basement. This is the library. Okay. At this time, there is nobody in the library. It's just you up here. And sure enough, you do find some pen and paper. There's a small, like, little book checkout, honor system, of course, on one of these tables nearby with a few pages and who took what book out of the library on what date and did they bring it back, sort of thing.
All right. So very quickly, since we're on a limited time budget, I shall. Is this empty? Nobody in here?
Nobody in here but you.
Okay, switch to the Red Shield Tabard. I'm going to write out a note. It is going to say, Frederick, I've been thinking about your offer, and perhaps it is the wine speaking, but before I can consider it, I must know a bit more about how to make some sort of flirty-ish here. About what I'll be getting into, or what will be getting into me. Meet me at, you said there was a hot bath, the cold baths. Which one was more private?
The hot bath,
yeah. They say, meet me at the hot bath after everyone has departed.
Okay.
So wait for me there.
Okay.
And all right, I will again getting alcohol, arranging all that shouldn't be too hard. Yes, so I'm going to acquire some good stuff and maybe a plate with some cheese on it. And I am going to go ahead and poison the wine bottle.
The whole bottle? So if you're going to poison...
be diluted?
Right, so if you want him to get the full double dose, he needs to drink all of the fluid. So if you mix it with the wine bottle, he'd have to drink the whole bottle to get the effects of it.
Alright, so I won't poison it yet then. I am going to find a place to kind of sit out, let things start to die down. Wait till people have departed. Actually, I'm going to wait until people have departed. The servants have gone. People have returned to their rooms. Then I'll go and set up the wine and the cheese tray in the hot bath. I'm going to pour out a drink already there. I'm going to put the 2 doses of poison into it. I am going to go. So now I'm in the Lady Redshield Tabard, I said, right? So right. I'm going to go down to knock on his door.
Okay.
His room.
You knock on the young lord's room after hours, after everything has calmed down?
Yes.
After everyone has gone for the night? Well, all the servants have gone and everyone else has headed to their bedrooms?
Yes.
Okay, you find yourself, let's actually go down to the 3rd floor. We're gonna need that. Where is your... So you find yourself here, standing outside of this very nice, well-locked door. And you know, beyond this door is where Frederick's room is, but this is one of those, like, fancy-pantsy locked doors.
Alright. I'll listen for a bit to try to see if I can... whatever I can hear.
Nothing. Silence.
Alright. I didn't have a good roll anyways. And I will go ahead and knock on Frederick's door.
On this door? Right here?
Yes. And I have the note that I wrote is folded up.
You give a knock, and after a moment, there are a sound of footsteps, and the door opens with Kel Cotton Hill standing there, looking at you.
I say, and I look fairly bored. I was expecting to be in there. I say, I have a note for Frederick.
Is that a hand?
Okay, I hand it to him, and as if my job is done, and I depart.
He shuts the door in your face.
Okay.
And what do you do?
I am going to see. I didn't know if he was going to be in his regular room or not. I will move up. First, I'm going to go around. It's fairly quiet out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to listen for a little bit, see if I hear any conversation between Elle and Cotton or anything like that.
Maybe 45 seconds after you hand over the note and the door gets shut in your face, you hear a door slamming from that direction down here, as if someone's shutting a door in a hurry.
Do I hear hurried footsteps?
Sure. Yes.
All right.
As you wait to hear those footsteps, you hear another door open very quickly thereafter. Someone's moving fast.
All right. I'm going to move very fast. I'm wearing my elven boots, so I'm not making a lot of noise, and I'm going to head for the hot bath.
Right. You make your way down over towards the hot bath area. Here.
Was there a side? I'm not going to be waiting here in the hot bath. I'm going to. Is there a place to the side where I can watch to make sure someone goes in?
This is the hallway before the hot bath. Right. So it's a long hallway with 3 doors.
What was I told? Those were in the cold baths. We're in through one of them.
Yeah, this is hot bath. This is cold bath, and this is like the storage room for towels and cleaning products and stuff.
All right, I'm gonna go just inside the doorway to the cold bath.
Okay.
And listen.
Moments later, you hear the hurried footsteps coming down the hall, the door to the hot bath opening and closing. Silence.
All right. What is the onset time of that poison?
3D 10 minutes.
All right.
About 16.
Yeah. So I'll wait, say 30 minutes, and then I'll go listen outside the hot bath.
The poison's not in the hot bath, is it? You have your plate, you have your wine and cheeses on you right now, yeah?
No, I set that up in the hot bath.
Okay,
I remember I poured out a glass of wine. That's got the poison in it.
Okay.
So that it would all be set, the glass of wine with the
So there's a glass of wine and a bottle of wine, and the glass is already mixed with poison, yeah?
Yes, so there's a glass of wine already poured for him.
Okay. Now comes the all-important roll. Does he pour himself a fresh glass of wine, or does he just pick up the existing glass of wine and drink it? Let me take a look at his stats for a moment. We're gonna call this a insight check on whether that's close. No, yeah, it's a wisdom check. It's a regular old wisdom check. Is he the sort of person who finishes somebody else's drink? Or takes a drink that's just sitting out there? Right. Standing outside the door to the hot bath.
Do I hear anything?
Give me a perception check. Pretty quiet in there.
Alright. I will step inside.
Okay. You step inside, and sure enough, there is Frederick Drooper. He is sitting on a bench, a bottle of wine next to him, a plate of crackers and cheese, and his head is slightly drooped to the side.
All right. Does he seem to be under effect of the poison? I gave him a double dose.
You did give him a double dose.
Is that glass been drained or not?
There is an empty glass beside him. Let me open the character sheet. You gave him a double dose, right? That
Yes.
increases the DC. So it's been half an hour, and I roll onset time of the poison because he did consume it, but he's got to make a con check, a fancy con check, and it kicks in some 22 minutes. So you walk in, and he kind of looks towards you. You see his eyes are pretty droopy. He doesn't look, he's not asleep, but he's very clearly really tired. He seems drowsy, which is one of the effects of a narcotic. If it doesn't kill you and it doesn't put you to sleep, it's gonna make you pretty drowsy. And here Frederick is definitely on the drowsy side of this thing, kind of keeping himself awake, not forcefully falling asleep. He looks at you and sees your tabard and says, "Well, where is she? Where's Chloe? Oh, you're supposed to meet me here."
Yes, she sent me to see if you would take her invitation.
She's late.
I give a smile and say, whenever a lady arrives is on time.
Fine. Tell her I wait for her here.
I say, first, my lord, if you would, there's something I need to show you. I think you're going to like it.
What is it? He gets to his feet reluctantly and walks over to you.
All right. And I'm going to try to trip him into the tub, and basically, I'm going to try to trip him in and drown him.
All right, you're going to give me an opposed athletics check against his acrobatics or athletics, but he'll do it at disadvantage because he's caught off guard and sleepy.
Really hope that disadvantage works for me.
He rolls a 6. He has
All right.
disadvantage, and you knock him into the warm bath.
And I try to hold him down and drown him.
All right. Let's just take a quick look here. Swimming and suffocating. Character has... The whole time they can hold the breath is cut in half. So he is flailing. He can hold his breath for 8 minutes. So he's got 8 con. Hold your breath for a number of rounds. No, a number of minutes equal to your con mod minimum 1, right?
Yeah, should we cliffhanger this?
Yeah.
We don't want to cut it to the next show.
We're gonna cliffhanger it. When we come back next week, we will see if this is gonna work or not. That's it for this week's Assassin. We will be back next week, and then I believe we're gonna be off then 2 weeks after that. So, I'll be around. Any final words, Rob?
I guess I'll see you all, same Assassin time, same Assassin channel, for a really old Batman reference that probably nobody else got. So I'm not sure why.
Same Bat channel. We'll get that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Who doesn't get that? I don't know. That's it for us.
All right.
Goodbye.